Venus, the goddess of luck, beauty, love, prosperity, and money, meets with expansive Jupiter, who also provides bounty, wealth, prosperity, and luck, doubling your luck in the sky between February the 28th and March the 3rd, but also asking us a deeper question. What is it you wish to devote yourself to that requires healing and commitment? And in some part of your sky, action. We're going to talk about what that might mean for your sign as this beautiful combination of two benefics, Venus and Jupiter, join forces together at the 12th degree of Aries. And this is going to happen in a very particular place in your world. And it's going to happen in the sky zone called Aries, which is one of your 12 natal houses in the whole sign house system. So we're going to talk about you. This is not a world prediction event. This is one of my videos where I just focus on you, the people, and your sign and what it means. Now, before we get going, if you're new to my channel, I am Lori Lothian. I'm a whole sign house Hellenistic astrologer. I use the Western tropical zodiac, not the sidereal zodiac from India, though I am using a whole sign house system, which is also what is used in India. It's an ancient house system, and that's why I use it, because I think it actually works. Now, I want to also mention something else before we get going, just about the philosophy or whatever of astrology. Like this is a fun little boho top for Venus today. And that is that sometimes people say, oh, you made these predictions in your astrology channel and nothing worked for me. And I'm like, okay, this is general bell curve astrology. And astrology is very sophisticated. There's so many factors, most particularly Time Lords. If you were in India, they're aghast at this general astrology. It doesn't really work in their book. So for example, I just want to say, in your life, transits are trigger points. They activate something, but they're more powerfully activated. For instance, this is a Jupiter and a Venus event. If your Time Lord of your age is Jupiter, or the Lugna Lord, or the Lord of the solar return ascendant is Venus or Jupiter, or if in any other system of Time Lords you have a Venus or Jupiter activation, then of course this is going to have more impact on you than if you don't. For example, that's just an example. There are so many ways astrology is uniquely particular to your life, your rhythm, your cycle, and your sky. That said, for most people, this will make sense. For most of you, this will be a useful delineation. Also, check out my description box below. I'm teaching my Sky Reader class in the month of March. I haven't opened the doors yet. Get on the early bird waitlist. 8 weeks, be your own astrologer time, your best life. It's not going to teach you how to be a professional astrologer. That's a study. That takes at least a year or two of learning. This is going to teach you how to read your own sky. And also, I have courses all the time. Every month I have a mini course. I've got one of my a masterclass coming up for people who've already taken the freebie of my Amazing Asteroids course, and all the information you need to know is in my description box, including all about my Patreon community, where all things I put on YouTube show up in your Patreon box weeks to days and months before the general public, and they are ad-free. This content is ad-free, and you meet with me twice a month in Patreon for only $5 a month. Now we're done with the promotion. Let's talk about the sky. I'm going to show it to you first, then I may come back to me and we'll talk about it. I want to also mention I am interestingly going to use a Sabian symbol today, which I don't normally do. But because this is such a quiet spot in the sky where they're meeting at 12 degrees of Aries, getting ready to bump into Chiron, conjunct Chiron, the healing of the wound, because there's no real asteroids or stars engaged directly, I moved to a Sabian symbol, and I'm fascinated by this Sabian symbol. I am like, okay, like this is juicy. Don't forget, Venus is a sexual, romantic love goddess, and she is an Aries, which makes her a little bit tomboy, a little Xena warrior princess, a little bit rapacious, maybe a little bit go-getter. She's chasing after Jupiter and catching up to him in sort of, the warrior feminine archetype as she approaches Jupiter. And in some ways you could say that, she's charging ahead to lead the show. And what we have is Jupiter in Aries, which is only in once every 12 years. Now, Jupiter and Venus did meet together in the very early degrees of Aries back in the spring of 2022. But this is actually conjunct Chiron, the healer, and it's going to also aspect Venus will very shortly after move into a connection to Mars and Gemini, meaning it's something like, here's a sky action on the 28th of February through to about maybe the 4th of March. You'll be feeling it. It's kind of precise on March the 2nd. It brings a lot of double your luck energy. And then Venus will go on after that, and she'll have a conversation by March 11th with Mars. And Mars and Gemini is like, we'll take action now. Thank you on whatever just happened. We'll get moving. We'll make decisions. She's also going to be in a connection to Juno. So I'll show you that, and which is where you need that commitment. And she's already connected with the Vestal flame, which is what are you devoted to? So we have themes of devotion, commitment, action, and luck all happening in the sky shortly. So the Sabian symbol for this is a serpent coiling near a man and a woman. Now, of course, it brings to mind Adam and Eve and the serpent and the temptation, the Garden of Eden. It also brings to mind Kundalini, which is what the serpent, coiled serpent, is about. It's about the coiled energy at the base of the spine that rises up and wakes us up and causes us to become gods, basically, to awaken all of our chakras and become enlightened beings who are co-creators with the divine. So Kundalini energy, passion energy, sexual energy, innocence, lost innocence maybe, our relational fear, passion energies could be going on here. Don't forget the Sabian symbols, a serpent coiling near a man and a woman, was channeled content. And so the interpretations are multitude. Various Sabian astrologers who are experts will interpret this differently. So I'm just leaving it for you to interpret this energy in the sky as it might pertain to your story, right? No need to make it one size fits all at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. You know how a snake and the sort of man and woman coiled thing could work for you. Next of all, what I want to do is show you what it looks like. All right, so here we go. Get it on the sky story for you. And I decided today, you guys never see my hair in basically a clip, but I didn't have any energy today to try to do something with it. So this is just me and my hair pulled out of my face. This is, but maybe because Venus likes a different hairstyle now and I'll go with it. Venus and Aries. So here's what the sky's looking like around March the 2nd when this is exact. You can see that Venus and Jupiter are at 12 degrees, perfectly conjunct. 12th degree, if you just looked at the 12th degree alone, 12 is the archetype of the hangman in the tarot. It can bring illumination and enlightenment. It can also often invite us to a surrender, a letting go, and a releasing. The 12th card, the major arcana, can also be about a suspension or a reversal of something in our lives that we were thinking was going one way and it goes upside down on us, topsy-turvy. For the most part, the light around the head of the hangman is very much like Odin on the world tree, inviting us to download something profound and original, like he did with the language of the runes. So I wouldn't say that the 12th degree is a problem degree, but if you need to surrender or let go of something toxic in your life, a self-defeating habit or pattern or addiction, I'll have to say that this is a very auspicious number for that. So here we have this story. Venus has been moving through Aries and she has crossed the Vestal flame, right? A few days earlier. And so there's a sense of the Vestal flame of sacred devotion. What is it you want? What is it worth? What is worth your devotion? Think of a temple priestess tending a flame. There's a sacrificial energy, giving up, the Vestal virgins gave up childbearing and marriage. They gave away 30 years of their life. Where are you willing to devote yourself to something with great intensity, great perseverance, that vibration? So Venus had a conversation with the Vestal flame, and then she bumps into benefic Jupiter. And now it's like, how is this going to provide something positive, expansive, good, and lucky on steroids in your life by choosing this devotional path? And then she bumps into Chiron, and Chiron goes, yeah, and let's heal something here. And there's a gift in the healing. The chironic wound is often the thing that is our most wounded place, is our strongest gift. And it's a little bit like James Hillman in his book, The Soul's Code. When we are daunted by our fate or destiny, we'll often have a wound that is almost the opposite of our gift. For example, in The Soul's Code, he talks about Churchill, the prime minister during the wartime 40s in England, having a stutter as a child and as a man, and ending up having to overcome that because he was known as a famous orator on the radio in the wartime blitz and all of that of the war with Germany, and giving hope to the citizens of England. So, what it is that sometimes the thing that is our deepest wound is our greatest gift. I was so painfully freaking shy in school that I don't think I said 2 words all through elementary school or high school, and finally started talking a little bit in university. So here all I do is talk on YouTube with you guys. So you'll find that maybe what you'll see with Venus here and Jupiter is an opportunity, Jupiter, Venus, benefic luck opportunity to really move away or through some kind of wounded space in your reality. In this case, in the Aries zone, especially for you people born with Chiron in Aries, which I was. This has been a time of a Chiron return that you've been going through since 2019, right? And so, not only top of that, we get a Chiron return generation here. You would be, if this is happening, experiencing a healing Oh, sorry, I don't have Chiron there. I apologize. Chiron's in Pisces. Oh my God. You would be in my chart. You're not my generation, but I'm not going to talk about your generation right now. That's not what this video is for. But I just want to say, if you were born with Chiron and Aries, you would experience this as a profoundly healing time. You would be people born in the early 1970s to mid 70s, I believe. So let's keep going and talk about a couple other thoughts here. She's coming out of the connection to Jupiter, and the first thing she does is she moves forward, and the first major planet, not some small little asteroid or something that she communicates with, is going to be Mars, moving direct rather quickly at Gemini 19 degrees. Now, Mars has been in this part of the sky since last August. It's a part of your sky that's been highly seasoned. There's a lot of Martian like change and refinement and endings and cutting and battling and noticing this area of your sky for each of us. That's true for the Gemini space. For me, it's my romantic love and children house. And you can tell you a lot's been going on in that zone since last August. And now Mars is moving relatively quickly, because by March the 25th, he's out of there. On the 26th, he finally leaves his 7-month stay in Gemini. And Venus is catching him. And she's going to talk to him. She's going to come into a sextile around the 11th and 12th of March. Now that's the cosmic lovers. Venus was in love. Well, she had sex with Mars, the warrior. The goddess of love had a love affair behind her husband's back with the god of war, Aries or Mars. And so there is a connection in them mythologically. They do have a conversation historically, mythologically, archetypally. Mars would be the passion, the drive, and Venus would be the binding. Mars separates and Venus binds. And when the cosmic lovers, the god of separation, Mars, and the god of binding and bringing together, Venus, come together in the sky, things happen. And this is a flowing sextile, which is the nature of Venus. The space between Venus and Mars will be 60 degrees, which is called a sextile. And they're qualitatively of the nature of Venus, bringing things together, binding things, causing things to flow and be harmonious. So she's up to a lot here. And that's going to maybe on let's say the 10th to the 12th or so of March is going to be opening up an action statement. Like, Mars will say, Venus, what are we going to do now about this new thing that we're concocting now? Healing, a devotion. And finally, what are we going to decide about it? With the energy here of Juno, which she'll eventually bump into right as she moves forward. In fact, we may as well look at the date of her Juno rendezvous. Juno is about commitment. Juno is like about the vows of partnering up with a situation or something that you don't want to give up on. Okay, so she may not catch Juno for a while, but Juno is co-present during the conjunction. So she does catch up with Juno for the idea of commitment around March the 21st. So, getting into this vibe of ultimately this whole thing is trying to stick a landing around some kind of collaboration, partnership, or commitment energy. All right, so hopefully that story makes sense. And if we go back in time just to see, the reason I'm talking about Juno, she's in like the witness box, right? With the conjunction to Jupiter at 12 degrees of Aries, leading to, in the couple of days after, Venus conjoining with Chiron to heal that something that needs healing. And lastly, about the general sky story, you can see here that at the same time this is happening, there is a last in 30 years Mercury conjunct Saturn in the anaretic 29th degree, intense degree of Aquarius. Now, it can be somehow connected to this story for the simple reason that this conjunction of these two planets is connecting to this Juno story, right? And that alignment there is a sextile, and it is a degree-based sextile. So again, Saturn, endurance, lasting, marathon, going the distance, stability, commitment to in some ways. And then Mercury, information, news, communication. And then we have Juno around commitment. Now this could be about a business collaboration. Lastly, Venus is trying to bind things here. She's trying to unify things. So this could be even for stressed out relationships, a reunification, a rebinding, and a healing, a recommitting, a revowing in some kind of business love or deep friendship commitments as well. Things that you've already vowed to stick with. All right. Okay, so now we're going to move away. I don't want to spin the wheel this time. I'm going to actually put the backdrop behind me just in case I go really long and you guys pop into the live premiere and you want to know where we're at. So if you're watching today in the live premiere, which I think I'll probably air this on 24, 25, 26, on the 27th maybe of the month of February, the day before this starts to activate, or could put it out earlier, I'm not sure yet. I'm recording early for my Patreon community on Friday, February 24th, Venus Day. I purposely waited for Venus Day because I wanted to wear a green earring for Venus. It's hard to see with this weird backdrop. My Venus boho top, my Venusian vibes. I'm just trying to be Venus today. Venus, we're going to get down on the Venus story. And what else? Yeah, so hit my like button in the premiere. Thank you. My channel just hit 20,000 subscribers today. Woo! And I'm going to be doing contests. And I thought I'd do a contest for my moon video, which is coming up before this, but who knows? Maybe it'll be on this video. So you'll be seeing contest stuff popping up to give away prizes. Every time I hit a new 1,000 level, I do giveaways. And so if you don't know that about me, just you want to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, and subscribe to my newsletter. Because anytime I'm doing a contest giveaway, my newsletter people on my Cosmic Moonshine suite of weekly astrology news, they get the information about contests before you, and discount codes and specials and a bunch of stuff you guys don't get without subscribing to my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. Let's get going and talk about each sign. We're going to start with Aries, obviously, and then we're going to move on because it's happening in the sign of you of anybody. I'm going to just leave this backdrop behind me, maybe because it's so Aries, right? It just looks like the ram's horns there. And then we'll start moving to the other backdrops that go with each of the signs. So let's talk about Aries. First of all, you fiery beings full of, gorgeous intensity. You're going through this Chiron energy. I just need to backdrop you for a minute, right? If you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising, you're healing the mother wound, the father wound, or just your life's purpose stuff, because Chiron is moving through your sign and hitting your ascendant sun or moon. Now, this has been true since 2019. It's not done until 2026. But I just must remind you that this is an important part of your story because Chiron gets involved in this triple conjunction. So a lot of you are healing your body image, how you feel about your body, about yourself, about your identity, about, all of that. And you might be leaning more deeply into finding your original medicine, your passion, and your true purpose, your original, unique signature of how you can only be you and do you in the world. That's a very Chironic narrative. Now, in this time frame for you, you're going to look at this time, maybe the 28th to the 4th or so of March, as opportunity, luck that you are creating, that you are a part of, because this is Jupiter making you magnanimous, larger than life until mid-May, leaderful, popular, big energy. You are big energy now. Now, my sun and moon is in Aries, so I have a bit of this going on. The rising signs feel it the most importantly. They may be getting a little weight gain here. If you're a rising sign, Jupiter can help you gain weight and get you pregnant too, so watch out for that, for the Aries rising. But here we have this Venus story. Venus in Aries is going to make you feel more pretty, more popular, more beautiful, and in your own particular style, your own Aryan style. So you might try something there with a haircut. But the opportunity on the 28th through to March the 3rd or 4th is something to do with a healing opportunity around how you love yourself, Venus in the house of you, how you value yourself, how you respect yourself. This Venus in Aries is that old Aretha Franklin respect song, and I can't sing it for you, but go Google it. And therefore, you're coming home to your own self-worth, self-value, self-respect as Venus, the goddess of love, and all of that is moving through you. You love you, and you heal some Chironic wound here, right? Around the themes of love, self-respect, all of that. Possibly, this is one way it can work out. There are many ways. You might just get a bombastically crazy ass pioneering new haircut that heals all of your fears about looking weird with a mohawk, But the deeper archetypal level is some self-healing. And you also want to devote yourself to you. You're tending a sacred flame of self-devotion because Venus came off the sacred flame and she's bumping into Juno. And maybe you're going to commit to yourself. What vows are you going to make? What sacred commitments will you make to yourself as this transit is going through the sky? And then take bold and declarative action and choices on that decision. When? Around maybe a March 10th to the 13th or so, as Venus activates Mars. Now, some of those decisions will be third house choices and new movement and momentum. Third house, decision to take a trip, a decision to connect with a sibling, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, to do something in the world of education, online world, platforms for social media, writing. This is the area where the bold, declarative new action plan and decision making, with Venus binding it in a positive, lucky way, is going to occur later on in the narrative. And don't forget, way down the pipeline, around the 21st of March, Juno is going to unite with Venus, and that's in the second house of money and earnings and possessions, meaning, of course, that's where you really stick the landing. Whatever this self-worth, self-love, third house, online, skills-based, trips and travel, siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, websites, social media, where all teaching or being taught, where all of that is happening, finally ends up in some kind of Venus Juno yay moment in your second house of earnings. This is where the commitment sticks and lands, and maybe so like all of this good process, and you are now committed to some new voice, vocation, earnings path, resources and possessions, energy around that part of your life. Okay. So Aries, I look forward to seeing how this works for you. I would love to hear from you in the comments, how this plays out. If you can remember to come back. And unlike other astrologers or many astrologers, I do actually like read my comments and respond to them. And I know some astrologers that I really enjoy who are some of my faves, like Ladin Shiva and Myron Altman also do tend to heart and like when they're in the mood. And I've always been appreciative of that from them when I was following them over the years. So I would appreciate that I don't like making comments when astrologers ask you to and nobody ever gets back to you. For frick's sakes, what's that all about? I see so many astrologers don't even seem to look at their comments. So anyway, just not to be judgmental. I do it better, you know. All right, so keeping on here, we're going to move on to the Taurus, and I'm going to change the backdrop. So yeah, that means that everybody who's in my premiere or coming in late will know exactly where we are. And it's taken me a while to do that. Give me a minute while I figure out where that change the backdrop bit went in my back end of my software. There we are. And we're going to move over to Taurus. Yay, Taurus. And the virtual background for you is coming up. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sun. All right, I have a lot of Taurus people in my life. You guys know I always tell you about my friends and family for examples. So first of all, in the Taurus world, this is going to be an extremely subtle energy. It happens to be in your natal 12th house at this whole Vestal flame, Jupiter, Venus, Chiron, Juno, stellium is landing during this time. And so February 28th to March the 4th, some kind of luck in the 12th could be, okay, first of all, the 12th house does engage some money if you do revenue from foreign shores. It can also open up some chunky money like a tax rebate from the 8th house. So there's that. You could get that going. And, you know, you could also maybe expect to find yourself engaged in some kind of deep soul work. Like Jupiter is teacher and guide and guru, and Venus could be like breakthrough openings that are very fortunate, that get you in touch with a deeper kind of love. You know, the 12th house is a place where you have maybe some addictions, and Venus loves her pleasures. And when she's in the 12th, she's all about her bed pleasures. You could have some sexual healing. You could have some healing around addictions. You could have some healing around self-undoing and self-sabotaging strategies as Venus and the chironic wound is healed, along with some lucky opportunities from Jupiter. Jupiter could just outpicture as a guide, guru, teacher, mentor, coach as well here. For some of you, this could also look like being more devoted to your spiritual life. The sacred flame is here with this energy. It's like, do you want to begin a practice, a spiritual contemplation? Do you want to meditate every morning? Do you want to light your incense? Do you want to do, you know, that kind of thing? This sky is inviting you to consider that kind of thing is extremely sanctioned for you, can bring breakthrough spiritually. Yes, not just February 28th to March the 4th. Just as a principle, this is being activated in your life, and it may be more acute during that window. Because Venus, as I mentioned earlier, will talk to Mars around let's say the 10th to the 12th or 13th of the month. This is where the action plan from this subtle shifting 12th house stuff plays out. Just to go back to the 12th house, it's a house of hospitals. I want to say someone you know could be in a hospital, but there's a healing and a lucky breakthrough, and they come out unscathed, and there's almost like a miracle moment here. So that could also just be a really practical thing. But then later on, as you know, the Mars piece picks up and Venus has this binding sextile of goodness to Mars, then possibly we're looking at action that really directly reflects finances, particularly money that you can earn or possess, or possessions that you can either buy or sell, or, you know, things to do with your resources. So Venus is trying to make action and decisions and move forward that, you know, are in a positive flow around that kind of stuff in your sky. And eventually, of course, Venus will meet with Juno around the 21st of March, now in Taurus. which is the house of your identity. So I think the final narrative is a kind of feeling of a real sense of coming home to you, to a solid Juno vow of commitment to yourself. There's a sense of you coming through some kind of fire, because Saturn's been in the house of your reputation and your career and your work and your purpose, your visible 10th house sky now for quite a while. And, since March of 2020, and he's meeting during the time of this intense sky of goodness. He's meeting with Mercury, some kind of good news or change of some newsy events going on in your reputation and career zone also that are helping you move through this time and feeling blessed and grateful. This is supposed to be positive. So yeah, a lot of you felt like difficult times to do with whatever your career is. Now, yes, you're a student, and that's your career, right? I mean, it's the thing you're doing in the world that we all witness you doing from your 10th house. Anyway, people sometimes say, what do I do if I'm retired? And you're talking about the 10th house. Well, look, I mean, if you're retired, what are you doing? Are you in a vegetative state sitting in front of your TV? I hope not. So hopefully most people who retire are looking for a second wind on some kind of purpose. I have many clients who are retired, and believe me, they're not sitting around watching Netflix all the time eating popcorn. There's more to a retirement. In India, the time when you're done being a householder and you quit your job is a time of your spiritual seeking and finding God. It's a time of your sadhana. So hopefully some of you, that makes some sense if you're retired. Okay, let's move into the next sign, which is going to obviously be Gemini. Now, Gemini sun, Gemini moon, and always most accurate rising sign. I explain why every single time. I'm not going to do it again in this video. I'll do a tutorial video on many of these topics that I address. I'm going to learn astrology playlist, and I'll start doing a lot more of that content this year. And I'm booked out now, guys, until September. I'm so sorry. I had to block time off for me in the summer as well. And I may be moving away from doing one-on-one readings as a general thing going forward, but I'm still available if you want to book all the way out to the fall. For birthday readings, that makes more sense. Otherwise, I've got a wait list going for when I open up doors in the summer again, and you can check my description box for that. All right, so, for the Gemini people, you have been feeling Mars moving through the house of you since last August, and a lot of you have been getting more decisive and more directional and more focused around, your passion and ambition maybe, and drive about what you want in life, which is wonderful because, mutable signs like you, which is you're one of the mutables. So Gemini, you're very changeable and sometimes fickle and sometimes uncertain. And that's a cliche, I know, but it's true. And you're the best at making executive fast decisions. You want to debate, weigh your odds, make a pro-con list, ask an oracle. And anyway, so what you've got going here is a sweet kind of Martian infusion since last August. It's asking you to get your Mars on, Now, some of you might have injured yourself or had some inflammatory health problems like rashes and stuff, but that's all ending anyway on the third week of March. So I wanted to bring that up as a backdrop. So here we have Venus. Don't forget, think of Venus as good. She's just good. She's in your house of great gains from your career with the Jupiter story. The double your luck is in the great gains from your career. Your reputation house, your 10th house. This is where you get rewards, awards. This is where you get big raises or promotions. This is where you get chunks of good money coming off the career story. This is your hopes, dreams, and wishes. This is your karmic and cosmic rewards. This is your fairy godmother and fairy godfather. And you can say that Jupiter here in the house of his joy in Hellenistic astrology, will he be there till the middle of May, is now in Venus. And the two of them are collaborating for some luckiness, some prosperity, some juice in what is essentially a money house. Some of you may also have a windfall. It's possible because this can be sort of a sky drop, parachute of money from the heavens kind of vibe. You want to devote yourself to something because the sacred flame is active. Devote yourself to your biggest hopes, dreams, and wishes for your life. Don't settle, or devote yourself to something that really matters to you that does bring in those great gains from your career in a meaningful way. And as Venus will move forward and heal a chironic wound around great gains, hopes, wishes, dreams, and eldest sibling for you, then maybe there's going to also be a renewal and a refresh around gains and purpose and wishes and dreams for your life connected to the deepest element of who you are. Because Chiron can be that super unique fingerprint identity, your original medicine, which only you can give this world. fame and celebrity with Venus up here can happen. So anyone who does anything on social media land like me, you could have it pop in your notoriety, hopefully not your fame, your micro celebrity status going up, up, up during this lucky time. You may also find that because Venus is ultimately wanting that Mars to work with her around the 10th to the 12th or so of March, when she's going to create I better double check those dates. Let me just know. I did it. I checked earlier. That this is when you take action. Now you have the sword in your hand. Mars is moving through the house of you. You're making executive action plans, taking steps and doing decisions around March 11th and 12th that are directly related to these great gains that you're able to luckily receive in your 11th house. And finally, at the end of this narrative, because Juno starts the story with a co-presence with Venus starts the story with a co-presence with Juno. I would say that because Juno and Venus come together in your 12th house in the 3rd week of March, the storyline goes all the way to a cleansing, a purity, a refinement around addiction, self-defeating patterns and habits, but also revenue gain from international borders and foreign shores, etc. So certainly anyone like me using PayPal and Stripe who generates revenue abroad, this is definitely like a big bonanza. And because Juno's involved in it, there's also maybe a potential commitment or collaboration with somebody from another land. And this can still be a romance story too. So it could also be about, because all this could be a romance story, but in this case for you Geminis especially, Venus is in an angle to the house of romantic love and a trine to the 7th house of commitment. For some of you, the 3rd week of March looks like a very big opening around a commitment to a relationship, but maybe connecting to a committed relationship in love or business for someone in a foreign land or foreign shore. That's one possibility. All right. Hope that's useful. I am going to do something and I'll be right back. What I'm going to do is put more warm water in my tea, which is in this day, it's a purity tea called puka. It's puka and it's called Feel New, and it's got anise and licorice or something in it. And it's organic and it's so delicious, but I'm going to just top it up. You won't even know I'm gone and I'll be right back. Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and especially most accurately, in my humblest opinion, rising sign. So we want to talk about how this double your luck, double your money, and themes of devotion and commitment and action are going to play out for you in your sky. And let's go for it. First of all, you're having this in your 10th house of public reputation and career. And often this is a place where people see you doing things. So often it's like the most visible part of the sky, like highest part of the sky. So this is kind of really interesting. It may have a lot to do with some kind of financially prosperous, lucky expansion in your career story, because Venus can bring money and prosperity stories when she's in the 10th house. And Jupiter expands that and brings the luck. Now, someone in high power, of course, this is between February 28th and March the 4th, as I said in the beginning of the video. And you could find this is like a big expansion, a double your money, a raise, a new job, a promotion, coming out of this. It doesn't have to happen right away. And we're going to talk about the timeline. And also you just may have an opportunity to benefit from someone in power, Jupiter, who favors you and looks down positively on you during this window of time. You know, like you get, what do you call those things they do? Performance review, or you get, totally loved up by the bosses or the higher ups. If you're independently employed, like me, like a Chiron, like a entrepreneur, then this energy can also just work as well for you to be like way more visible and more successful up in the top of your sky. You're going to heal something here, some kind of career wound if you are Cancer rising. Now, it can play out, by the way, my sister's a Cancer rising, and Chiron here has made her into a healer. She's a Reiki healer, healingwithnancylynn.com. Chiron here can make you take on a healing, shamanic, mentoring, more teachery career. And he's been here since 2019 and will be here till 2026. But you may also have to heal some kind of thing to do with your reputation, to do with how you feel about being seen in the world. And that's being healed all the way through to 2026. And this is a very lucky opportunity, very beautiful, luscious Venusian love up to heal some kind of chironic wound around being seen publicly, about your reputation, about being visible in the world. For a lot of Cancer rising, you guys are very private people. You keep close to home with your heart and your tender heart. And so sometimes this is a very vulnerable place to be visibly seen, because you can be criticized and trolled, right? Which I have totally been, and I don't really care anymore. You don't like me, and because I move my body, go freaking away. Also, in this part of the sky in the 10th house, your purpose is there, often, like, even if the midheaven in the floating whole sign house system isn't in the 10th house, it still connects to purpose, visible action, praxis in the world. And Chiron is a purpose energy. And so you're healing something to do with your true purpose, maybe, as this beautiful thing happens. It won't happen again for 12 more years. Remember the rarity of it. And so it's a beautiful window of time for that. I like it a lot. And you're coming into the energy of what is it you want to sacredly devote yourself to, a purpose that's sacred and you can devote yourself. It's not just like, oh yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I'll go for it. No, like you want to devote yourself. It requires perseverance. It requires energy. It requires commitment. That's the Vestal flame. And on top of that, called maybe collaboration, because you're going to bump into that Juno and energy eventually. We'll get to that too. Now, Mars is going to get involved with Venus in a flowing sextile around the say the 10th to the 12th or so of March. That's where the action plans and the decisions get made about some of this lucky goodness. Some of this may involve themes of foreign lands, foreign travel. Some of it may have themes about money you derive from international revenue sources, and some of it may be choices to cut out, cut away, and release yourself from sabotaging addictions and patterns, things that you do that your own worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy. And Mars has been trying to cut that stuff out of your sky since August of 2020. And this is kind of the last energy. But on a practical level, it could involve foreign travel, foreign lands, foreign shores, and themes of that coming into the story with Venus, but connected to career, purpose, reputation, and luck. All right. So we're looking then on the third week of March, around the 21st, Juno gets together with Venus in Taurus. This is your house of great gains. Whatever this process has been about, it results in great money gains, career gains in your house of career, in your house of great gains, the 11th house, the windfalls, the pennies from heaven, the cosmic rewards, and some great gains here. So it ultimately lands as a potential collaboration for great gains, a contract, an agreement of some sort. Could be with an eldest sibling. Could be with an eldest sibling that you make that agreement contract, the 11th house. It could be some kind of collaboration with an eldest sibling. It could be some kind of money just coming to you from benefactors and allies. But again, with Juno involved, collaboration. Don't forget, you've got a sacred flame of devotion towards some kind of purpose that you're healing. And now you're getting this great gains, but you will team up maybe in a collaborative way with someone, other one or ones, in order to do this. All right. Let's keep going. I hope that helps you guys. Let me know how that works for you. If you're still listening in the live premiere with me, don't forget to hit my like button, and that helps my channel a lot. It's a simple click of your finger on the button called like, and my channel gets to grow. Thank you. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you are a fiery big lion energy in this world with the big, beautiful hair that you guys are prone to have, especially the rising sign Leos. Well, this is the energy of a fire trine, fire to fire, Venus and Jupiter in fire, with Chiron in fire, and Vesta flame in fire, and Juno in fire, all beaming a trine, which is about opportunity and luck at you directly, luck that comes to you. You don't have to go searching for it. Well, it's all happening in your 9th house of God. That's your Aries zone, the 9th house of religions and foreign lands and travel, the 9th house of the meaning of your life and the dharma of your life, the 9th house of higher education and book publishing and courts and legal matters. Lots up there, patriarchal and father figures. So bottom line, that's a lot, right? Is that from that area of your sky comes this lucky energy. The opportunity is being hatched there. It's flowing right to you directly as a Leo rising sun or moon. If your Leo rising sun or moon is anywhere near the 12th degree, give or take 5 degrees on either side, exactly, roughly, especially the Leo rising, you really personally feel this. And, the sun can be about your career. So it could be a career boost if your sun is anywhere near 12 Leo, or home safety and security needs if your moon is near 12 Leo. But that's why we like to do rising sign. It's really more about you personally, not about aspects of your life. Now, because Venus has gotten the sacred devotion thing going with the flame tending energy of Vesta just before she meets with Jupiter, and then she meets with Jupiter, And then she meets with Chiron. She's going to help heal something, but you're going to have to apply a devotional energy. The ninth house is a temple and a church energy. Some of you might come into the realization you need to have a daily routine, a meditation practice, a light a candle, put the incense, do your prayers, mantras, chants, that kind of thing. And this may be coming as a new revelation for you, or you may have a lucky opportunity to discover this or whatever. And then finally, Mars, the action taker, the choice maker, the decisions, the sort of momentum god, is in your 11th house of great gains, where he's been trying to rustle up some great financial gain from your career ever since last August. He's also pared away your friendship circles and all of that. You can go listen to the video about Mars going through Gemini for 7 months. Leaves there on the 3rd week of March. But with Venus in a sextile to him, those cosmic lovers, this is a money story. If it's a love story, it's a love story with a trip from somebody in a foreign land, trips or travel. But if it's not that, it's like, how does Mars want you to make action and take action, or will he take action and help you forge powerful decisions around March the 10th to the 13th that can lead to some financial bounty generated from the career path that you're on? And then eventually, or Mars could be a favor from a friend who's male, that Venus is calling on him around the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th of March to bring into action, to continue the streaming luck story that she's trying to get going here. And then lastly, she will talk with Juno as they both rendezvous in Taurus around the 21st of March. This is a career spot, the highest part of your sky, the 10th house of reputation. Well, I don't know. It could be that you do something collaboratively in the public sphere of the reputation part of the sky. Or you announce to the world you're getting married, or you announce to the world you're getting engaged, because that can look like Juno and Venus together, announcing something to the world in the public reputation sphere. And I remember Facebook used to have that thing where you could change your relationship status, and people are really into it. I don't know who bothers anymore, but you may change your relationship status in a positive way and say, I'm now dating so-and-so, I'm committed, I'm getting married to this person, we're setting the wedding date. These things could show up for some of you Leo risings. Well, sometimes also Juno can do the divorce thing too. You might announce to the world you're no longer with someone, but for the most part with Venus there, it looks like a union, not a disunion of something. Alrighty, I hope that's useful for you. I want you to tell me what happens, Leos. I want to hear from you in the comments. If you can remember to come back here later, I'd love to hear back. And I'm forging community here. So if you want to join my community, please hit the like and subscribe button, because you'll be able to come to my live premieres, win contests, and hang out with amazing people from around the world, like Misbehaving LA Taylor. Oh my God. You know who you all are. It's like I try to remember the names that aren't funky names, because a feral writer, I can remember you guys. And, All You Need Is Love, and, Jupiter 8, and Stephen the Jupiterian. But then I know that real people with real names are in there all the time. I just don't do the memory of your real names as well. I'm so sorry about that, but I know you're there. All right. So thanks for being here, and hit that like button in the live premiere. Let's go ahead and talk about the next sign. The next sign, of course, is going to be Virgo. I'm always talking about my Virgo sun with the sun in Virgo, my best friend, and my daughter Virgo rising. So yeah, a lot of those people around. And my mother was a Virgo. Like, I get Virgo, guys. I get you earthy, grounded people. All right. So, well, yeah. Well, you're still mutable, so you can make changes, and you don't get stuck as all that much like a Taurus, but you do ground really well. So you guys are experiencing this lucky break on the 28th of February through to about the 4th of March at the outset, where the epicenter is March 2nd, where Jupiter and Venus collide in a money house. So we want to talk about money first of all, and then occult mysteries second of all. This is money that you share with other people, or you derive through other people. So, the bank loan, the mortgage, the tax rebate, the stock investment, the shared resources with a spouse, inheritances and stuff like that. It's not your earned income, basically. And that money is going to pop nicely here in a lucky break. What is it? It could just be that tax rebate that blows you away, but it could be more. It could be something else. It could be that your stock investment takes off, or that your partner's money takes off, and you're jointly sharing this yay moment. And so there's this collaboration of the Juno we'll get to that. Sorry. There's this movement of the healing of something here as well. Where have you been wounded about shared resources? Where have you felt maybe an existential crisis about having to rely on other people's money or to partake of money that's not directly earned? And this may be a deeper healing because, Jupiter, Venus with Chiron can only happen here Jupiter, Venus every 12 years. Add Chiron. I should have done that in the beginning. The synodic cycle's even way wider, like OMG wider. So this is a rare healing opportunity here in your 8th house. And you may never again after this have a woundedness around partaking in other people's resources and sharing the bounty with your spouse or something like that, or relying on your bounty of your spouse to support you, or you had a wounding around alimony, palimony, spousal support in a divorce, and now you're healing that. A lot of this can be so many ways of healing the deeper money stories. This is a house of death. And so maybe you're healing wounds around having lost people you love. This is a house of the occult mysteries, the paranormal, the spiritual, the supernatural. And this could be opening up some kind of opportunity there, but also some depth of healing or purpose in that area. So my daughter is psychic as all heck. She's doesn't fall far from the tree. I was a full-time psychic medium in my 30s. And so she also has a psychic thing to do with dead people. And maybe she'll decide she's going to pick it up and start doing tarot cards and doing readings for people or something. I mean, that would be an example of where this kind of chironic wound and purpose to do with the occult mysteries as being opportunity comes and there's a healing. You want to devote yourself to something as a Virgo here. Your devotional energies are picking up. Tantra, sexual intimacy, deeper intimacy can be found here. Sexual healing can be found here in that regard. And then all of this is germinating with a collaboration with Mars in the 10th house of public reputation and career. What are you going to heal in your deeper 8th house that shows up in your 10th? Now, just be clear, secrets and secret love affairs or 8th house things. And some people could be experiencing this Venus story as the secret love affair of you or someone else, hopefully not your partner. But then Mars is taking direct action to do something. I don't know, make it public or something. But for most of you, it won't be that story. And with Mars moving forward in your purpose and career house, again, for some of you, if you've always wanted to go super woo-woo and do, tarot or astrology or occult mystery stuff, you may devote yourself to that purpose now with this constellation of yay and start to move in that direction in your career. Okay. You may also find that this is a turning point in your career that brings greater money for just a practical thing. Like, I don't know, the company has a buyout offer or, gives you a severance package or gives you massive chunky bonuses. That could happen for some of you as Virgo rising as well. And then, ultimately Venus is going to meet with Juno and they're going to collaborate together in the 9th house of God. This is about your purpose as well and your dharma. They're also going to meet around the 3rd week of March and potentially meet a getaway, a romantic trip, 3rd week of March onward. It'll go for a while into April where you could get away with the one you love to a foreign land or have a romantic love story happen or meet somebody and fall in love in a foreign shore. These are possibilities. You also may make a deeper commitment to really dig into some kind of love and commitment vow, because that's Juno, regarding higher education, regarding book publishing. Could look like a book publishing contract for Virgo writers, Virgo rising writers especially. So that's what Venus is trying to do. Venus here could really open up some kind of Lakshmi wealth and prosperity and luck as well, coming from the 9th house, which is kind of just to say divine intervention and giving you some lucky wealth, or from a father or father figure. Okay. And that's more likely to occur in the 3rd week of March. And we continue forward into the next story, which is going to be obviously the next sign, which is going to be the sign of Libra, which I will open it up. Did I get it? Did I move it? Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign, especially rising sign. Are you in the premiere? Have you hit my like button? Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude. Gracias. Merci. So my Spanish accent's terrible. I was in Barcelona. I was in Spain a few times. I love Spain. Gracias. The th sound is so funny because I learned it more along the lines of the non-Spanish when I was in high school. All right, so let's go ahead and say what is going on for Libra. In your sky, this is in the house of marriage and business partnerships, clients and significant others, the audience or the marketplace for your wares or your services. This is your 7th house of the others in your life. This means, therefore, that there's luck and opportunity and goodness here. If you've been in a relationship already and you're already with someone, this is going to bonify or sweeten the deal, going to bring some good sweetness to the existing love story. If you're in a committed relationship, it will get deeper and better, especially with Juno. I mean, Jupiter moving through here with Juno, this is like really deepening the commitment for a Libra rising, especially. If you're single, up leveling, deepening, moving the commitment to more levels of monogamy or commitment or whatever, especially with Jupiter there till the middle of May. Now, this also means that your partner, if you have one, could have some lucky breaks, and you're witnessing them from your house of you as a rising sign, Libra, have this luck and opportunity in their life. With the Vestal flame of sacred devotion, though, there's a call to devote yourself to, or your marriage partner wants to devote to you, or you want to devote to them, or devotional business partnerships where you really dig in and really make that devotional energy happen, and commitment, of course, because Juno is there. Devotional commitment in business and love, or to your clients, is being called forth for the Libras of the world. Now, you don't devote yourself to something you're not interested in. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to devote myself to the gnarly clients I don't like, or to my partner I don't like. Of course not. So this is also the question mark. Is this something you want to do? Is this someone to whom, or these partners or clients, people to whom you wish to devote yourself? Because if not, then maybe there's a decision energy, because Mars is decisions and he's involved a bit later. Also, Juno, she's saying, like, what is it that you are going to commit to, not just devote, but commit to in your marriage, business, and other partners and significant people in your life? And then as Venus goes through the woundedness here, have you had a wound about marriage, a wound about business partners, a wound about committing to others? This wound can be healed. And then Venus goes through and she says, Mars over there in the 9th house of God, truth, wisdom, the house of Dharma, the house of foreign shores, lands, book publishing, education, courts. She says to him, let's get the show on the road. If you're involved in any legal matters that require contracts or legal decisions by courts or judges, this is going to work out on your behalf. This is also something on the March 10th, 11th, 12th, that Mars and Venus can collaborate on to open up a possibility of a foreign land trip or travel with you and a significant partner. You may plan the trip or take the trip sometime around March the 12th or 13th, even just planning it. And certainly if you're involved in book publishing at all, or writing things to be published, this is also very auspicious around the 10th, 11th, 12th. You may get your book picked up. What do you call it? Opted, get something opted, get an early contract, a commitment from a publisher, an agent signing you up, things like that. Now, because ultimately Venus will land with Juno, the collaborative goddess of commitment and collaboration and union and partnering, in your 8th house of chunky money. For some of you, this is definitely going to look like a good money story that you can see beginning to emerge around the 3rd week of March. Sometimes chunky money can be royalty income, or what do you call it? Like when you give somebody money to do something in advance, some royalty income. It could be some kind of shared resources with a spouse. A spouse shares their money with you. A significant partner has a great gain and it goes into the shared resources pool of money, that kind of thing. So it ultimately lands as a positive money development for most of you Libras, especially the rising and the sun and moon secondarily. So let me know how that plays out in your sky. I'd love to hear back from you. I'm always curious to know the stories of how this plays. I had somebody comment recently and they wrote me like 5 paragraphs. It was amazing to read it about how something I'd predicted in their year ahead forecast had turned out for them. And it's so affirming as an astrologer, even with a bell curve astrology, to see that this stuff is useful to people, helpful, and works. Okay. Whew. I think a little sip of tea here. Take a deep breath. It's like I'm racing to the finish line, aren't I? I'm trying to slow it down. Scorpio. My Scorpio people rising, especially. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of intensity, a lot of sometimes illness, a lot of struggle, a lot of change. As a South Node, eclipses have been moving through the sign of you. Don't worry, the last eclipse is happening in the month of May, and then you're done with those eclipses directly hitting you. I would say to you guys, the energy of this luck is going to open up, or this opportunity, I don't know, call it what you will. Did I change the background? Yes, I did. Thank gosh. It's going to open up a potential karmic healing of some kind. It's the 6th house of karmic debt. And you're going to heal something that you could say is deeply karmatic. Now, with the nodes of fate moving through your house of you, you're in a karmic swirl anyway. However, on a practical note, this is a money goddess with a prosperity god in a house of debt. What kind of debt? Well, besides karmic debt, your credit card, your mortgage, money you owe someone, money they owe you, debts. The theme of indebtedness and debts is here. Indentured servitude as well. In a practical way, as a Scorpio rising especially, it could be a great opportunity to relieve yourself in a very powerful way of some sort of significant debt that's financial, especially with Mars in the house of chunky money. So if some of you are paying off some kind of debt in a very lucky way, also good luck and opportunities can emerge from this part of the sky in your workplace, especially if you're in collegiate co-worker space type work, not solitudinous. So you could have a promotion, a raise, a bonus coming off your house of the work you do, the job, coming from this luscious energy on February 28th to March the 4th. You're trying to devote yourself to something. You're trying to lean in here to that servitude work. All right. You're finding your way here. You're trying to find the spark of what you want to persist in doing. And you're finding that if you can get that spark of devotion going to the work being seen as a place of service, perhaps, or devotion, then you're also going to be generating a current of healing here. Some of you are looking at this Chiron transit, for a while more, right? It started in 2019, ends in 2026, as a healing of work and purpose stories and health and wellness. If you've struggled with any health challenges, you could bring in a powerful new healer moment or time frame, as I said, around that window of the 28th to the 4th. And then as Venus moves forward, she's going to talk to Mars, who is in your 8th house of chunky money, occult mysteries. Now, for when it comes to healing, this is go see like the woo healer and get all healed up. But if it's not about healing, then it's moving you Scorpios towards some kind of financial opportunity. Decisions might have to be made or action taken, but there's something going on. Mars eliminates. What are you eliminating in the finance house? Shares resources with a spouse, mortgages, loans, investments. Something's changing here, but it's good. And you're going to see that energy playing out around the change energy around the 10th to the 12th or 13th of March. Now, it is an inheritance house. I'm not saying that someone will die. I'm just saying a bequeathment energy is activating. You could lose somebody in your life, but then they give you a bunch of money and it relieves you of all your debt. It's not going to happen for 90% of you, 99%. So many other factors have to be available in the chart to show that. But I'm just saying, I can't pretend that theme doesn't exist here. Okay. Finally, tenancies and rentals. This is the theme or one of the themes of the 6th house. So you could have an amazing opportunity to rent a place, to rent out a place, or to be the tenant in a new place. And finally, you could also find this opens up a nice doorway for you connected to pets. Yes, this is a house of the small animals that can live with you. And what could open up here but an opportunity for a new pet that brings some healing into your life. And that's going to happen for some of you Scorpio rising, most particularly. Okay, Sun and Moon definitely secondarily. I'm playing with my earring if you wonder what I'm doing. It's one of my Venus earrings by a wonderful designer, Milena, and she's local to Vancouver. I love her jewelry. I'm just wearing another bauble that I got somewhere in Ecuador or Peru here, some foreign South American shore. And lastly, the final statement I have for you is that this commitment thing could be a business or love partnership when Venus joins with Juno around the 21st of March, but it's all connected to every other theme. Lastly, legal contracts you need to sign. Juno, vows, contracts, agreements, 7th house legal agreements, Venus, good and money, prosperous agreements, legally signing around the 21st of March is a very strong possibility. And if you're single and this was all about a love story, for example, this is a dating house, a 6th house, a karmically ordained amazing opportunity to date somebody amazeballs that gives you good prosperity and forward movement financially, or makes you feel like this is the best intimate tantric or kinky sex you've ever had. And then you move into the commitment level by the 21st of March as Juno, commitment, Venus collaborate in your 7th house. That's true for single Scorpios. That could look like that. All right. Whoa, keeping on. I'm trying not to rush today, trying to ground this in my slow pace for me. Someone told me to slow down again the other day and said I'm too fast and not calm enough. Guys, you have 4 planets in Aries. You're not going to be going too slow. All right, moving on. Next, we have Sagittarius. Hey, by the way, you're still hanging out with me in the premiere and you have not hit that like button. This is your chance to do so. And I may even do this as my giveaway draw because I was going to do another video, but this would be a lot of fun too. I'm not sure which one I'm doing. But if I'm not giving anything away today and you're in the premiere, just thank you for being here. All right, like going on to Sagittarius, fire sign. Well, first of all, because you're fire, and this is happening in fire, it's happening in Aries and your Sag fire. This is what we call fire to fire. It's a flowing trine of fire towards you, just like I said for the Leos. So of course you're experiencing this as highly benefic, highly okay, highly auspicious, highly, yay, you feel good. So first of all, good for you. And it's coming from your fifth house, romantic love, children, pregnancy, and fertility. Sagittarius rising, whether or not you have a uterus, you or your partner can get pregnant. With Jupiter here until middle of May, it's a fertility transit. Be careful. Venus doubles down on that. She's a goddess of sperm and ovum. It makes this a highly fertile window of time. Now, if you're a Sag and you wanted to get pregnant or your partner did because she's got the uterus, then you are looking at a good opportunity, either to try to get pregnant or you find out that you are. So yay, this is going to be February 28th to March the 4th. This is a wonderful opportunity for meeting someone new because this is a romance house and this is very romantic with Venus here and Jupiter, opportunity for romance. And your healing, sexual healing, romantic healing, love life healing, etc. because Chiron is co-present and will be touching down with Venus. If you have your own business, you have an entrepreneurial spirit, this is that house, and this is also obviously auspicious for your entrepreneurial endeavors. And finally, your children, your adult children, your children can receive the benefits of this transit. It's not always about you, or they may have something good and auspicious happening in their lives at this time. Certainly you want to devote yourself to your children, to your romantic partner, to your new love, to your business, because the sacred flame of devotion is joining in the fray. In this part of your sky, Venus was having a talk there and now is moving into healing as well. Sometimes Chiron here, this is, 2019 to 26, can help you heal deep wounds around love, lovability, sexuality, romantic love, children, fertility, pregnancy, and authentic independent business enterprise, creativity, and inspiration. I think I covered it. And so there's a deep healing because only once every 12 years can Chiron meet with Jupiter. And then you add the story of Chiron, Venus and Venus and Jupiter every 12 years, add the Chironic piece, and it's much more rare. So a profound, deep spiritual energy is authentically healing something in this. The house of the soul, often the fifth house is like, this is why you get out of bed in the morning, your inspiritedness, your inspired nature of being filled with spirit, what gives you joy. And this is being healed very deeply for a lot of Sagittarius, because you don't forget, Venus is a pleasure seeker. When she comes into the fifth house, she's probably going to say, drink more wine, smoke some dope, and, eat some chocolate. I mean, especially, but you're healing something about a pleasure, and maybe trying to convert the pleasure to joy as one of the examples. She will move into a Mars story, and that could be about making a commitment to somebody else eventually, because when Venus moves into around the 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th of March, she's going to move into a flowing sextile to bind something with the 7th house Mars, making a binding commitment or romantic commitment to somebody, business partnership commitment to somebody, or yeah, that's kind of how it looks. I mean, Mars has been in the it's gnarly, Mars and Gemini. So, some of your Sag risings have experienced a lot of combat or combative aggressive energy from a partner. Some of you haven't, but some of you have. So you could heal that combative relationship for existing partnerships. But if you're into something new, this is the romance taking off and becoming more of a monogamous story, and making decisions around that, or your partner making decisions around that, coming to thresholds of choice, action, decisions around love and commitment, sexuality, romance, and love and commitment for some of you. All right. And that will be around, the 11th, 12th of March. And then Venus eventually makes her way all the way into a union with Juno, who was co-present during this lucky conjunction in your 6th house of dating, in your 6th house of pets, in your 6th house of debts and debt relief, in your 6th house of karma, your 6th house of tenancies. For some of you, Sagittarius, it could be all about moving, renting, especially if your IC is floating in the 5th house, to a new home. And really finding the 3rd week of March is where you make that final commitment about signing a document or moving or something like that. I'm done. I'm going to keep going. Okay, now I'm having a hunger attack, but I'm not giving up till I'm done with you guys. I'm just not. All right, I'm going to finish this video. Sagittarius. Maybe what I'll do, I could get some chocolate and honor Venus, right? I just read an article about chocolate and how much lead and cadmium there are in chocolate, and even the major brands like that are supposed to be healthy for you have terribly like toxic levels of lead and cadmium. Now, you've all heard me talk chocolate, eat chocolate here, but I'm not a real super chocolate girl. Not like some people I know eat it on the daily. So check your chocolate ratings and consumer reports and don't eat the stuff that's toxic, okay? So maybe I'll just skip the chocolate because I don't have the consumer reports in front of me and I don't know if my covered chocolate is toxic or not. I want you to consider hitting my like button, please. Don't forget, it helps the channel grow. If you're not in the live premiere, I so enjoy your company because I'll probably hear chatting with you. And if you want to hit the like button, I'm really grateful for that. All right. Ace of Spades, are you here? These are my regulars. Some cool names on your channels, guys. Herbal Empress is sometimes in the room. All right, let's go. Am I an Aquarius? I'm not an Aquarius. I just finished with Sag, Capricorn. Capricorn. All right, so Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, and always most accurate is going to probably be your rising sign. There are exceptions to that, but that's a whole course to explain why. For the most part, your rising sign is the best. All right. So Cappies, you are going to find that this fire energy of a lucky double your luck is in the house of property, real estate, home, domestic life, residence, where you live, your mother, your ancestors, your childhood. All right. So all of those areas are having luck. There's a Vesta flame of devotion. Are you trying to tend a flame of devotion within your private home life? Do you need to find a devotional space within your home? You're going to have some luck here because Jupiter's here all the way through to the middle of May. And expansion, a larger home, a new home, a better home, an opportunity around home. Venus, the goddess of love, with Jupiter can bring love in your home and a bounty of love in the home, prosperity in and from the home. Buying and selling property is very auspicious with this energy. This is February 28th to March the 3rd. Also leasing, in particular for you, because of Mars in the house of tenancies, there could be an opportunity to lease a place as well. That's quite auspicious as the story progresses, particularly around the 12th and 13th of the month, when Venus will also sextile Mars in the house of leasing and tenancies. If you're single, you could meet somebody close to home and start dating them. And if you're already in a relationship, this just makes your sex life at home really much better. But it also just means that you're going to have more joy and enjoyment in the home with the one you love. Because you're healing a fundamental wound here, Chiron, in the 4th house, it's often a black sheep wound. Chiron traveling through the 4th house. I mean, first of all, if you're born with that, you think, I don't belong to my family. I'm a changeling. I don't belong to my culture or tribe. But however, temporarily, since 2019, you may have had a belongingness wound. You don't belong to your neighborhood. You don't belong to your country. You don't belong to your tribe. And this woundedness around the belonging or the mother wound has been in place since 2019 to 2026. And as this is, moving through, right, Venus and Jupiter come together and try to help heal it here in a very rare way. And you want to devote some time and attention to this deeper childhood wounds, family of origin, mother healing, if you can, around that time of the 28th to the 3rd of March. And you may not have to try, it may just happen. Venus ultimately wants to tango with Mars, and that can look like an amazing dating situation close to home. It could look like an amazing new place to lease or rent, or even buy or purchase or sell because you can eliminate debt by selling a property here. And for some of you as well, there may be some beautifying, renovating, and decorating extravaganza that goes on during this transit that's very beautiful and expansive in the home. However, also, Venus ultimately wants to connect with Juno, the goddess of commitment, and she's going to do that connection with Juno, the goddess of commitment and collaboration, around the 21st of March in your 5th house of business enterprise, romantic love, children, inspiration and joy, and leisure travel and pleasure. Maybe all of those are true. And how can you take this prosperous energy from the house of the home and move it into the house of joy with a commitment? Can be a commitment to go on a trip with the one you love. It could be a joyful business collaboration in your independent business that's going to take off. It could be a vow or commitment to one of your children that enhances your pleasure and joy in your own life and home. Or they make a vow to you, like, I'm going to stop, playing my drums at night when you guys are sleeping, mom and dad. I'm not sure, but let's see what happens. Certainly Venus will be in the house of her joy as she meets with Juno. So suggesting around maybe the 21st of March, some joyful and prosperous alliances in your creative and business endeavors. Or a romantic story that becomes more committed around the third week of March, especially if it's brand new. Okay, we're moving forward. I'm not going that fast, but I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. I'm having a moment. You got to give me a moment. I'm pausing. Yeah, I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. Well, I almost did. You're Capricorn rising, and Mars is the exaltation lord for you. He exalts your sign. So I would say also you could have this pretty lovely, massive relief from debt coming through here that just gives you a sense of joy. Like, oh my God, I paid off that credit card, that mortgage, that financial situation, resolved itself. But it could happen through legacy wealth, inheritances, property, land, real estate. Okay, those sorts of themes. Okay, I knew I was going to forget something I didn't really lean in for you. Okay, if you're regular and you know me, you know that I am one of you Aquarius rising people. And in my life, I have gone like you through Saturn, moving through our first house for the last 3 years. We're a bit tired. It's been a little exhausting. We're tired of being driven to work hard, be responsible and dutiful, and be sober-minded in life. The play factor has been hard. Now we're getting off of that, and Saturn's leaving in March 7th. So that's yay us, hallelujah. And in the meantime, this is Venus and Jupiter and Chiron in a very rare collaboration in our third house of trips and journeys and siblings and skills-based learning and teaching and things to do with travel. Did I say travel? And writing. Now, I could say as an Aquarius, this could be really healing a deeper wound about being a perfectionist in my writing and finally finishing one of my writing projects. This could also be, for me, a healing around travel and siblings. I mean, it's very proximate to the pandemic because I have been unable to enter the US where my sister lives because I have not chosen to take the medical intervention called vaccination. And as we get more news about that, I'm actually quite happy I didn't. Getting COVID was not a big deal for me. And I would say that you're also looking at something deeper than these stories that are surface level. I mean, this is the house of the goddess, the house of the omens, the portents, the synchronicities, the signs, the scryers, the diviners. This is the direct revelation of the divine through the intersection of the synchronous universe and the magic that is about. And so there's a deep, really profound healing here for a lot of Aquarians. Now, I'm going through a highly synchronized time, a lot of synchronicity overload in my life right now. I don't disbelieve synchronicity. I mean, I trust it to be like breadcrumbs, kisses from God, but this deepening of this healing about this house of the goddess may be very important for us as Aquariuses now. And then also, healing a sibling relationship, coming to an opportunity through a sibling, especially a younger sibling, coming to an opportunity for travel that can be healing or chironic, to travel to see a shaman or learn from a teacher, guide, or healer, or to take an online course of some kind that provides tremendous deep healing for you. Now, I'm thinking of signing up for a course, and I haven't taken a course. I don't mean an astrology course, a personal development kind of course, kind of vibe. And I haven't done that for years. And I'm thinking of signing up with for the Femme Fatale course with the Alpha Femme brand girl, Melanie. Oh, her name, Melanie Ann Layer, which is something I normally wouldn't do, but it's on my radar. And so this would be exactly what this kind of transit would do for me, is actually get me into that course, right? Which is online. So you'll be seeing an opportunity, Jupiter Venus, to go into some kind of instruction or course to learn something you need to learn, or to be the teacher or the one giving the instruction. Okay, so I'll be doing my Sky Reader course, right? That's going to start up in March, but this is the beginning of that open cart energy. You might want to definitely look at your online world. If you do website, social media, this is where this profound lucky opportunity, double your luck, healing energy happens. And, Venus says, No, she says, I've been devoting myself. We're devoting here, right? Devotion, the sacred flame. I've devoted myself to my channel, and it's finally crossed the 20,000 mark, but only in 7 months. I mean, so where you're devoting yourself to, Venus is going to say, we're going to have luck and success financially and in many other ways. Because she wants to work with Mars in your 5th house of romance, 5th house of independent business enterprise. Mars is traveling there now. This is a Venus-Mars story that's going to kind of come into real focus around the 10th, 11th, 12th of the month as she sextiles Mars. The cosmic lovers are uniting here. This can be literally about romance. It involves trips and travel, planning a romantic trip with someone who you're romantically involved with coming to visit you. This can be a romantic healing as well, because Mars can also be about ending or excising or something kind of romantic story that's not right for you. That could be healing for you, or engaging in closer connections to somebody you're already involved with romantically. When it comes to business partnerships, okay, this is really powerful. This is where you can be coming later on in the story around the 3rd week of March in a collaborative union around love, yes, and business commitments. That's because Venus is going to meet with Juno in the 4th house. What is this going to lead to? Starting around the 3rd week of March with a profound romantic or love commitment and union in and around your home or connected to your home and homeland or real estate and property, or also maybe coming home to that 4th house and committing to your business or your prosperity in your business in connection to your property, home, land, and where you live. Venus, Juno ultimately will make you collaborate as well with someone close to home, or somebody from the same homeland as you. If you're single and Aquarian and you're looking for love, it could happen here, but you might be finding the love in a learning environment or on a trip or through, yes, the dating apps, which belong to the 3rd house. And therefore, things will really heat up around the 10th, 11th of March and land on a commitment level, likely by the 3rd week of March, if something starts up in the February 28th window or just before that, all right, anytime since Venus entered into Aries, all right? So anything else for us Aquarians? Well, I guess that's it. For me, I can say having Mars in my 5th house led to a romantic story that then fizzled out when Mars went retrograde. And that was from last summer because he went there in August. And then, and then there's another romantic story now that's in my life and all of that, which is quite enchanting. So, for us to have, you have to understand something for Aquarius rising, sun and moon, but rising especially, having Mars, the cosmic, sexual energy in your 5th house of romantic love for 7 months is a once in a lifetime event. So I have been single celibate for 7 years. And for me to have 2 romantic things going on within that time frame is outside of the effing box. So I have to tell you, this astrology stuff does work, even in bell curve astrology. Oh yeah, your children is the 5th house. So some of you, this energy of Venus is going to bonify the house of children. She's going to send loving beams to Mars. A child de-nests and you feel good about it. You have a really wonderful connection with one of your children. These are stories that could be happening here as well as a result of this story that's unfolding over the next few weeks here. All right, moving on. Or you plan a lucky trip, or you plan a trip with a child. My daughter wanted me to borrow my air miles, and I said, well, maybe instead I can use my companion certificate, give some air miles to your boyfriend, and we can meet in some foreign land together, that kind of thing. Well, this could be that kind of story emerging to involve travel and children and luck and beauty and healing and wonderful energy. All right, moving to the last and first and always first, the most amazing, the mystic poets of the zodiac, the empathic, intuitive, wondering, spiritually inclined, transcendent, often confused Pisces people. You ever try to get a Pisces to commit to something? It's so hard, not to be generic, but holy man, it makes the Geminis look like focused sometimes. All right, so you Pisces rising, especially sun and moon secondarily. I did change it. Okay. We're on it. We're finishing strong. We're at the finish line. We've got this, guys. We're on it. Pisces. what you have happening in your sky is Venus, the exaltation lord for your sign. She has a special relationship with you in your second house of money, resources, and earnings, earned income, possessions, things you own, values. Self-worth can be here. Moving into a connection with Jupiter, luck and opportunity, double your prosperity, and Chiron, the deep healing of your voice, vocation, calling, your self-worth, and your ability to attract the money that and the resources you are worthy of. Now, Chiron here since 2019 also says, align your earnings with your purpose. It's not enough to make money selling like, I don't know, something that you don't agree with. You have an energy of having to align resources and earned income with deep original medicine and purpose. As Chiron moves through here, he's healing wounds around food and food styles. He's healing wounds around, a lot of times a chironic wound, if you're born with Chiron, the second house is an eating disorder often. You're ordering your eating, you're healing your eating. The foods and the substances that go through your mouth are the right ones for you. Now, Jupiter, Venus, Chiron, big healing, love up, starting to feel it February 28th to March the 4th. How are you profoundly healing your self-love, self-worth, self-value, earnings, resources, possessions, calling, and vocational energies in that second house? Yay! Family people, or family of origin in India, this is your second house, your family, growing up with the fam, that can be some healing happening in that part of your world as well. Possibly because Venus is aiming, don't forget, a flame of sacred devotion, which is get your kitchen chef on, make your own food, don't eat pre-prepared stuff. Having the hearth goddess moving through the house of food and things you put in your mouth, and the healing energy of Chiron is definitely do some home cooking. And this is a new call that's coming through your sky. It will be very good for your body. And then as we move into the later story around the 10th and 11th and 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th of March, of having this energy. Oh my God, did I start my recording back up? Yes. Having this energy of Venus connecting to Mars. What is it about your home that you need to look at in terms of the word healing? Because either you're arguing too much with someone you're with, or your home life has felt like a combat zone since last August, or there's been too much construction, renovation, and change going on around the home. And now this vibe, as Venus says, let's soothe it out, peace make, treaties, heal home conflicts with anyone you live with, anyone. And, Mars here can change your home. Yeah. You've been going through that Mars transit for a while, and it's going to finish up the third week of March. And there's some attempt sometimes for Mars to construct a new home, renovate a home maybe, but change a home. Changes in the home or changes of the home. Possibly what Venus can say if you're single is you could meet somebody close to home, but it may come through something to do with your work during this lucky opportunity window. And ultimately, too, you could find that the ancestral wounds and the mother wounds are being soothed and healed because of the Venus-Mars connection, the sextile between the fourth house and the second. That's a possibility. And lastly, Venus wants to join with Juno on the 21st or so of March. And we're talking about Juno because she's in the second house during this stellium event. Watch the beginning of the video. And so when Juno and Venus meet in your third house, the ultimate thing could be a very profound contract or agreement or collaboration around a change of neighborhood, regarding a website, regarding a writing project, regarding your a travel opportunity, especially connected to siblings. And even though it may seem disconnected from everything I said, it's not, because as I said, Venus can also be activating family of origin issues. So can Mars, and this third house union, agreement, partnering, Venus thing, around the 21st of March may involve family, especially siblings, but even further out, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. And if you're at all wanting to write something or a writer, the Venus-Juno energy in the third house is to collaborate in writing or to sign contracts or agreements around writing projects. Some of you, it looks like it could be a change of neighborhood, and you're signing contracts around neighborhood shifting, like a new lease or a new property, signing a document around that. Legacy wealth, inheritance money can be coming into this narrative from that Mars in the fourth. And it may not be just your money. It could belong to your partner even, especially with Venus as the ruler of the house of shared resources. So some of you might be doing some kind of management of inheritance and money or property or land, only for some of you. Um, hmm. I mean, you've got Jupiter in your earnings resources house until middle of May. If you're a Pisces rising and you think, your money sucks, you're doing something wrong. You really are. And honestly, Jupiter will plant golden eggs for sure. They'll hatch later, but you should start to feel some sense of bounty and prosperity financially by the middle of May when this is done. So look forward to that. And I am done. In the premiere, hit my like button. Let me round up with a final few statements. It's been a journey on YouTube, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to my 100,000 mark at the end of this year. That's my goal. I would love to create educational videos for you here, but I also create a lot of educational videos monthly for my Patreon community, etc., that are available to the public, but variously free or very cheap from Patreon. So if you want to learn more astrology, check out Patreon, please. See if you like it, and ditch me if you don't. $5 a month for the very basic minimum stuff, and the minimums are very good. Second of all, as I said earlier, if you're still with me here and you've listened to this whole darn video, please hit my like button, please subscribe, and please don't forget to sign up for my newsletter and get in on the inside track, more intimate connections with me, advance notice, and special things that no one else gets unless you're on my newsletter. And that's Cosmic Moonshine, a weekly astrology news. And I am done. Whoa, let me say goodbye. All right, I'm gonna say goodbye in a proper Venusian way. All right, hang on. What is a Venusian goodbye? Venusian goodbye. I don't even know what a Venusian goodbye is. Oh, I know what it is. Mwah. Mwah and mwah. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you in the next video, which I don't know what it is yet. Probably it's Mercury's ingress into the next sign. Stay tuned for that one. Ciao, ciao.